Microvita and Their Influence on Micropsychic and Macropsychic Corporal Structures. The 31st of December, 1988 RU, Ananda Nagar. The subject of today's discourse is Microvita and Their Influence on Micropsychic and Macropsychic Corporal Structures. As you know, this universe is a mesh of waves of so many lengths. And along these wavelengths so many positive and negative microvita move in so many directions in the entire universe. Microvita are mainly of two types, the positive and the negative ones, each having their peculiar influences on different animate or inanimate structures, that is, they have influence on both animation and inanimation. And in living structures also, where there is a flow of vitality, they function in their own ways, creating either static or sentient influences in different portions of the human body, mind, glands and subglands. Except for the pineal gland and the upper layers of the pituitary gland, they influence almost each and every atom of the human structure. Only the negative microvita cannot influence any portion of the body above the pituitary gland. The positive microvita may function above it but cannot touch the pineal gland. Amongst the different plexi of the body, or the different nerve centers, microvita function directly on nerve centers and indirectly on other portions and other subglands of the body. They greatly influence the solar plexus and the sidereal plexus. In the solar plexus they influence the vocal, ocular and auricular capacities of the human structure, either in pro-materialistic order or pro-spiritualistic order. But above the igneous plexus the negative microvita cannot function properly, that is, above the igneous plexus the role of positive microvita is prominent, and the role of negative microvita is insignificant, far less than that of positive microvita. Similarly, in the igneous structure and below, the influence of negative microvita is prominent, and that of positive microvita is insignificant. So regarding the igneous plexus or other plexi, human beings should be well equipped with spiritual strength to resist the influence of negative microvita. In the sidereal plexus, if positive microvita are allowed to function properly, accelerated by spiritualistic mobility or stamina, people become sanguine in each and every activity of welfare and service, that is, they will be assets to human civilization and human society. But if those positive microvita are not properly helped, their speed will not be accelerated. Rather, the influence of negative microvita will go on increasing and all the person's thought waves will be goaded unto the materialistic sphere, which may be detrimental to the cause of the all-round development of human society. The next important influence of positive microvita on the sidereal structures is the propensity of endeavor, the propensity to do something concrete. If not properly directed, this sentient solar psychopanoramic maximitis may be converted into static solar panoramic minimitis by negative microvita. Someone is energetic in doing something good, and someone else is very energetic in doing something bad. If properly directed and accelerated by the influence of positive microvita, such people may do a lot, but if not properly directed they will move towards nihilism, towards cynicism, and destroy all the assets of human society. Another propensity, psychophysical attachment in a good sense, is also created by positive microvita when they influence the sidereal plexus. The reverse is true if negative microvita are allowed to function. If there is no spiritual pursuit, certainly the influence of negative microvita will go on increasing. Conscience. What is conscience? Conscience is the spirit of differentiation between good and bad, merit or demerit. This also depends on the influence of positive microvita on a sub-gland of the sidereal plexus, otherwise this conscience will die a premature death. Psychophysical inertia is also created if negative microvita are allowed to function in the sidereal plexus, otherwise the positive microvita will crush the influence of negative microvita in creating psychophysical inertia. Greediness is also encouraged if there is want of spiritual practice or spiritual pursuit, that is, in that case negative microvita will increase greediness in human minds. Hypocrisy in the human mind is also increased as a result of the influence of negative microvita on the sidereal plexus. The psychology of feeling repentant is also created by positive microvita as a result of its influence on the sidereal plexus. But as I have already said, above the igneous plexus all plexi are influenced more by positive microvita than by negative microvita. Regarding the solar plexus I said that it directly influences vocality, ocular expression and auricular potentialities. These potentialities can do something concrete in uplifting the entire living society of the world, but if negative microvita are allowed to function, if there is no spiritual practice, naturally the reverse will be the case. Similarly, in the case of the igneous plexus, where the influence of negative microvita is more than that of positive ones, the result is the static physico-panoramic maximitis of negative microvita, but if there is spiritual practice and spiritual longings, the reverse may be the case, that is, this static physico-panoramic maximitis may be transmuted into sentient psychopanoramic maximitis of positive microvita. So one should develop the psychology of doing spiritual practice. Similarly, in the pneumatic plexus, at the anahata chakra, also, inertia regarding worldly affairs is converted into inertia regarding something bad, something worsening. I said that the influence of positive microvita on the human body creates sentient propensities, and that of negative microvita creates static propensities. I did not say anything regarding mutative faculties or mutative propensities because the mutative factor is not at all an attribute or won't or qualification, it is just a transitory phase moving from sentient to static or from static to sentient. The igneous plexus that maintains the balance of the physical structure and also the symmetry of the psychophysical and psychospiritual orders, is the controlling point, hence it is the hub of the body, the nave of the body. Similarly, in the case of our social structure, a collection of two or more than two persons is called a society. As in the case with micropsychic order, the same is the case with macropsychic order also, and the collective body, as a result of the influence of positive microvita or negative microvita, the entire social body, the entire social structure, undergoes degradation or elevation. I hope that you will not allow any degradation to take place in the human order, in the human system. And so you should encourage others on the path of righteousness and spirituality so that negative microvita will not get any scope to function on micropsychic corporal structures or macropsychic corporal structures. Human beings are social beings, and so in our social life, microvita must not be allowed to function. One of the important expressions of negative microvita on the human mind or human society is dogma. If you want to encourage positive microvita, if you want to encourage spirituality, you must fight dogma in different spheres and levels and arenas and strata of our society. This never-ending fight against dogma will help you a great deal in establishing a society of spiritualistic order, and in maintaining a balance amongst the three layers of human existence, the physical, the psychic and the spiritual. The 31st of December, 1988 RU, Ananda Nagar.